Welcome to episode 229 of Nerd Hurdles. I am your co-host, Jacob, recording this little introduction to the actual episode. On December 18th, 2008, we released our very first episode on the platform Podbean. We've been on a few different platforms since. Currently, we're on SoundCloud, which is the only place you'd be hearing this. So on December 18th, 2018, we commemorated our 10th anniversary, 10 years of the podcast, with our first ever live show, a live stream simulcast on Facebook and YouTube. It was our first episode in 17 months, and, as it turns out, our last. It was a bit of a messy situation, as you'll hear why we haven't done an episode in 17 months. Our now just over 2-year-old child is a bit of a, you might say, situation that is not conducive to podcasting. And then for that reason, the show's been at first on hiatus and then effectively defunct. But we wanted to do one last episode as a crowning achievement. Maybe crowning achievement was aiming a little high. We did one last episode, and this is it. The live stream lasted about, I think, an hour and 9 minutes. The usable material edited down for this audio podcast is just over half an hour. And something you'll notice about this episode is the audio quality is much lower than maybe you've become accustomed to from Nerd Hurdles, or at least I hope, as an audio engineer, that you've become accustomed to. But this brings us back full circle to when we first started. It was just Mandy and I huddled around a single condenser microphone with lots of room echo and ambient noise. Very hard to smoothly edit. Not very professional sounding. Over the years, I think I got the production quality of the podcast pretty good. Fairly professional sounding. But in a way, this is nice. This final episode, we come back around full circle to a very noisy recording. The full messy glory of people trying to podcast with a rampaging toddler in the midst. Mainly, we wanted to just thank everybody who's been listening for 10 years. We had a lot of fun doing the podcast. A lot of great friendships were made, and a lot of laughs were had. So without further ado, episode 229. So long, and thanks for all the Slicé.
Isn't there like a dance remix version of this song somewhere?
Somewhere, but I think it's on my external hard drive. It's like the Pride episode one.
That's where things go to die, external hard drives.
Yeah.
You're not in that one very well.
Well. Okay, one more time.
Yeah, you gotta get it stopped at the right point.
Yeah. Well, welcome to our live stream.
Welcome to Nerd Hurdles.
Absolutely nobody watching, I think.
You're Jacob.
I'm Jacob. You're Mandy.
I'm Snark.
Yeah, you're Snark. And our lighting technician is Quill.
That's Quill. A lot of light happening over there.
And this is our final episode.
This is our final episode.
Our first live stream.
Our first live stream. Our only live stream.
And we don't know how long this live stream will last on account of toddler.
5 seconds.
Yeah, so we've been doing this podcast for
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Although I checked today, the last time we did an episode was 17 months ago. 17 months. So does that not count as a year? It doesn't matter. We started 10 years ago. Sort of like 8.5 years of actual programming.
No, 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years.
So why haven't we done an episode in 17 months?
Because we have a toddler.
Yeah, it's because we have a toddler.
And we did a few episodes when Quill was little, and we thought it was so hard to do it then. But we were idiots. And now it would be impossible. Just the setup with, the microphones and the cords and everything, it would be
Yeah, they're very technologically interested.
Yeah, they like the cords and the things and the technologies.
Yeah. It also means we haven't really watched any movies or any of the things that we normally talk about.
We've watched a lot of children's programs.
Yeah, children's programs mostly. It's like a whole world I didn't really know existed. I mean, I knew Paw Patrol existed because you see the branding everywhere.
I think the stuff that weirded me out the most was the Little Baby Bum, the Mother Goose Club, like the sort of like songs for the really little kids. Kind of plot. There's some weird stuff out there.
Well, also
and Quill loved. They don't love it as much anymore, but they loved it.
They like to go back, though.
They do.
I don't know if it's a nostalgia
thing
for them.
It's nostalgia. Toddlers have nostalgia.
And, but also Little Baby Bum is just so surreally, like, the animations are so weird, and it's...
like, super weird computer animation.
Super budget, too. Like, it's like, I don't know, what I would think the skills of, like, a grade 9 student doing 3D animation now.
Oh, probably. Like a kid who was into it.
Yeah. Or
what they could achieve in like a class if they were doing a class about it.
Yeah, and I would be really impressed.
Oh yeah, it would be impressive.
But as a show on Netflix, it was like, how did this get on here? Why is this on Netflix?
Because the children love it.
Oh yeah, I guess it started on YouTube. They were like the first children's YouTube superstars.
They must be rich now.
Yeah, I think they're like billionaires or something.
I'm sure the Paw Patrol people are too.
Well, Paw Patrol's more of like a corporate
studio
thing.
production.
Yeah, and it's got like all the toys and stuff, so that's like a whole different ball game. That's not like somebody cottage industry thing that took off.
Right. So, just on the like screen time front, because that's a thing.
Yeah, we weren't gonna like watch anything.
Yeah.
When we were like when Cole's.
Anyway, so do you feel like do you regret that they watch?
Not at
TV?
all. I don't. I don't think I'd survive without them watching TV because I stay home with Will. It's just if I need to unload the dishwasher or anything, they have to be transfixed by something. And Quill is a very physical child as opposed to cerebral.
Yes.
So playing with blocks and dolls and stuff was never their thing. So
they will play with blocks and stuff like that. But
now more so, but before not at all. And I couldn't survive the day without. Well, I mean, the house wouldn't function at all, really, without them being able to be plunked down and watching She-Ra or whatever.
She-Ra. So not just screen time, violent screen time.
Yeah, I think Robo-Zuna was the worst for...
Yeah, no more Robo-Zuna. No one should watch that anyway, because it's terrible.
Well, it's not good. I really like Troll Hunters. The Guillermo del Toro series.
Yeah, you do.
I like ugly cry during Troll Hunters sometimes. Some of the moments are so emotionally, like, charged.
Yeah, that was one where I wasn't allowed to watch. Like, Quill wasn't allowed to watch it if you weren't there.
Yeah. It's true. So I feel like it's a show that probably nobody really watches because...
It's good. It seems good, the ones I've watched.
But why would you watch it unless you had a toddler, really? Although I know a lot of people are watching the new She-Ra.
Hilda's a good show.
Yeah, Hilda's a really good show.
It's got the girl from Game of Thrones, the little girl.
Yeah.
Not Arya, the like little girl. She's the voice of Hilda.
Yeah. It's a quality show. It's based on a comic by Luke Pearson, I believe is his name. It's about a girl who lives in a fantastical version of Scotland, I guess. Or
somewhere. We watch it over and over again.
Somewhere with fjords and Scottish accents, at least. So what is, in our kids' movie and TV show watching experience of the last 2 years, what has been your favorite franchise or show or whatever?
Oh, the Wiggles, I guess.
Yeah, you went pretty hard, Wiggles.
So did you.
I got really into the Wiggles, and then suddenly it was just like, sometimes you eat a food and you have too much of it, and you just cannot eat it at all.
Yeah, or like an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, it was like that. The Wiggles are like the alcoholic beverage of... It's like daytime binge drinking when you're watching a lot of Wiggles.
Well, we went to see them live.
And that was like the cusp. That was like, I think that was like my big night. That you couldn't go back after
your
that. Your
tequila night?
Yeah, that was like...
You were shitting in a coffee can the next day?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Callback.
So for you, it's Troll Hunter?
Probably, except I think She-Ra's better, but Troll Hunter was 3 seasons. A deeper arc. So I can't really judge if... I don't know. Kind of like apples and oranges in a way, even though they're kind of exactly the same show. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's somebody who has greatness thrust upon them, and it involves a sword. And they're young, and then they have these wacky sidekicks.
I don't like the sword in Troll Hunter. It's ugly. It's like a rectangle.
I don't like it either. A lot of the I guess costume design in Troll Hunter I don't like. Yeah, I just really got into the characters. Like they became my friends, kind of one of those shows, like a Buffy or something, you know.
Right. Okay.
Not they're like my friends. Like I'm friends with 16-year-olds. Friends like it's a nice place to go.
But they are 16-year-olds.
They are 16-year-olds. I'd say if one of them was actually a friend, it would be Blinky, the Kelsey Grammer.
Oh,
character.
yeah. Okay. That's not so creepy. No. I could see you relating to Blinky.
I feel like I'm kind of... He is similar fathering styles, I think.
Hands off.
Hands off.
That didn't work.
All 6 hands off, yeah. Yeah, all the non-kid characters, I guess, are the ones that
are a bit more interesting. Well, the same is true of Buffy, right?
Yeah.
What if there's like a meme or something, like the older I get, the more I identify with Giles?
Yeah. Joyce and Giles are what you really watch the show for.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Nick Thornton knows what the coffee can refers to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I until you said that, I'd forgotten that story, and I lived it.
Well,
I mean, I don't
blackout drunk.
I wasn't like I don't think about it all the time. It's not like this.
You don't wake up and go
trauma.
There was that time I shit in a coffee can, or anytime you like have a sip of coffee, you're like, this reminds me of a time I shit in a coffee can.
I wonder. It's like this could be the civet coffee. Like if I'd shit in the coffee beans, and then we could have put them through the grinder.
No.
Like my own. Version of civet.
It's not made. Well, it's not. No one's paying for that.
No one. I didn't say we'd make money. We would drink it.
What?
Yeah. So Wiggles and Troll was mine. Wiggles was yours. But what was your least favorite? Are we gonna go Paw Patrol on this? Because I don't think it's Paw Patrol.
Okay.
There's things about Paw Patrol.
It's not Paw Patrol because Paw Patrol, as much as like it's heinous, and I could go on and on and on about all the things I don't like about it.
List off a couple for the audience.
Okay, it's misogynistic.
Yep. Check.
Homophobic.
Check.
Gender role stereotypical.
Yep.
Reinforces child labor.
It does. They're dogs, but
No, I meant
dogs.
Ryder.
Ryder's the boss, though. He's sort of like the capitalist pig kind of character. I don't know. I mean, it's very fascist. It's very top-down authoritarian fascist. Even though whenever somebody does something terrible, like there's some, like that Mayor Fat Bottom or whatever his name is.
No, that's not his name.
What is it? Soggy Bottom? Is that the name of his town?
Soggy Bottom is the name of his town.
Mayor
Billingsworth? Biggleston? Mayor. Now you've said
Mayor looks like Martin Mull,
Word.
kind of. Yeah, the one that is the gay stereotype, that is the evil gay stereotype. At any rate, whenever he does like some pretty like legit crimes, like he should be stopped from doing these things, and they like just sort of rescue him because his plans go awry.
Yeah,
and there's no repercussions. So it's a weird kind of fascist messaging that is in the.
It's fascist, but it's also not like prison pipeline.
I guess
system.
there's no gulag.
No, not that we've seen.
Not that we've seen.
No.
I did have that fan theory that it's actually like they're like it's the Isle of Dr. Moreau kind of, and that the dogs are like genetically engineered, and the reason that the town only has like 4 inhabitants, apparently a couple farmers, the mayor, and the geologist guy, or the marine biologist guy, is because they're just the control scientists, and then what these robot dogs are genetically
It makes
bred,
sense. It makes more sense than
what is actually literally happening in the show.
Another thing that creeps me out is when people pet the dogs.
Oh.
And the dogs are like, "Oh yeah, that's a spot," because it's like I don't know. It grosses me out.
Yeah, they're a little too into it.
It's
they
when
kinda
a
got that
dog
sex
is into
shivering.
it, like a dog that doesn't talk. There's an innocence, right?
Right. Yeah, like a real dog. Peter is just asking if no old school Sesame Street. Well, we don't know how to get a hold of it. I mean,
we basically exclusively watch things on Netflix.
Canadian Netflix.
Oops, sorry.
Also, which is like a third of American Netflix.
Yeah, I guess
so it's like very limited what we can watch.
Which is fine, because, like, kids just seem to want to watch the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like Muppets type shows. Like, we watched that
The
hotel...
Chester, whatever? Furchester.
Furchester Hotel. Julie's Green Room.
Julie's Green Room, which was...
I like
you
that.
You liked it a lot more than I did.
Oh, it was like a musical.
Oh, yeah, that's why I don't like it. Yeah. But I guess that's why I didn't like Furchester either.
Yeah, probably why you don't like the Wiggles either.
I like the Wiggles more when they're, like, singing actual rock and roll songs. Like, their own songs, like, not, like, classic rock and roll songs, but, like, the earlier seasons seemed to have, like, rock and roll influenced, sort of garage band influenced music. Like, when we saw them live, there was a lot of bagpipes. And they're, like, really getting into more of the Celtic...
What's most popular about the Wiggles is Emma
Yeah.
and the dancing.
Yeah.
So I think they're just capitalizing on that.
Capitalizing on it because she's going to leave at some point.
But she seems really into it.
Well, they all seem really into it. It's like a weird cult. That
I don't
they've got
mean,
going
like,
on.
just how she seems. Like, stuff I've read. That's right. I read about the Wiggles.
Yeah. Lots of blog posts that we both read. Like, we went deep into that.
We did go deep.
All the gossip.
The gossip, the whole scandal of, like, her and Lockie breaking up.
Yeah.
But I never really believed them anyway.
No, because Lockie's clearly gay.
I think Lockie's gay, yeah.
I think Lockie and Andy Dexterous, the mayor of Wiggletown, I think they might be an item.
He I think is probably too good for Lockie.
Actually, yeah, he is a superstar, and Lockie is just kind of Lockie.
Also, Andy Dexterous, or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
is like a cool gay. And there's no way Lockie's a cool gay. He's like closeted.
That's true. Yeah, we also had this weird thing with the Wiggles where we had like different favorites.
Yes, at the beginning, Lockie was totally my favorite. And I was creeped out by Simon. I hated Anthony. Like, we would play Kill, Marry, Fuck, Elect with the Wiggles.
Yeah.
I always wanted to kill Anthony.
Right.
I wanted to elect Simon.
Just because he seemed like kind of an okay guy.
And I can't remember if we were marrying or fucking Lockie or
We're
Emma. We were marrying Emma.
No, we're gonna... I was gonna marry Lockie because he seemed like he'd be a good caretaker, kind of. And, Emma's hot, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, I'm all about Anthony.
Anthony for all 4 slots.
I don't want to kill him.
Oh, sorry. The 3 slots where people don't die. And Simon is now in the kill slot.
Oh, yeah. That man has no soul.
No soul. Dead eyes.
Dead eyes. Yeah.
Which we've always said, but then we're like...
Well, I thought that would be
excuses.
good for him as a politician. Like, I
Right.
thought that would be...
But then our province elected Doug Ford, and you're like, nah, dead-eyed politicians
I don't want
are
a
not.
dead-eyed politician, as it
No,
turns
because
out.
it turns out they're actually evil.
Doug Ford, for those of you not in Ontario, is like
Well, it's
Trumpy, kind of.
He's Rob Ford's brother.
Oh, you might know
Mayor.
Rob Ford. From
Everybody knows
the
Rob
TV.
Ford from the TV. Yeah, from the Jimmy Kimmel Show or whatever.
Yeah.
It's his brother, his older brother, who is kind of always his like the string puller behind Rob Ford. Mm-hmm. He's just like he's like Trump at Trump. If Trump was actually effectual at doing hideous evil things, like Trump kind of only has that immigration killing 7-year-old girls thing.
Trump is bad.
He's bad, but he doesn't have a lot of policies. I don't think that have cuts that have gone through that. The way Doug Ford is just like.
Well, I think there are
slashing
more.
and making-
There seems to be more sort of like bureaucracy that is harder for Trump to get through. Maybe for some
Well,
stuff.
because he's working on a bigger scale, it's national scale. So there's the checks and balances that still exist.
Well, a national scale of like a much larger country, population-wise.
Whereas, for families on the ground, I think in Ontario, probably more people are feeling the effects of Doug Ford's cuts and slashes and policies, and that are just insane when you think of it. Like, making it okay for his friends to dump toxins into the drinking water and stuff. It's just like,
and cutting
what is
off
going
like
on?
a guaranteed income pilot project that people were relying on.
Yeah.
And blocking the new minimum wage increases.
Yes,
and he just recently cut a whole bunch of funding to education and did all that crazy stuff with the sex ed curriculum. And
Right, which now the results of the public consultations that he said needed to happen is people want the sex education that he cut. Of course, he hasn't said what he's going to do about that. Yeah, I don't want to talk about
It's
it.
upsetting.
Let's talk about something happy like The Last Jedi. Did you ever finish actually watching that?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah.
I watched the other one, though, I think.
Rogue Squadron?
Oh, no.
No, you saw the first one of the Rey and Finn movies, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Twice.
It's sort of it was sort of bad. But
I loved Ray in the first one, but then I didn't in the second one. But
and same with Finn. Like Ray and Finn were
yeah.
great, I think, in the first one, and then both those storylines that they put them on for the second movie is just like they kind of made the.
Well, there were no good storylines.
There's none. It's they made a big deal about how that movie was going to defy expectations of what a Star Wars movie would be, and it wasn't going to be like the Force Awakens that just like copied all the same beats as A New Hope. Mm-hmm. But then they copied all the same beats as Empire Strikes Back. It's like you could do it also a shot for shot. They still didn't give people what they wanted, which they wanted to see Rey and Finn on another adventure together. Like they knew
they want to see more white people. I think that's what people want.
Less women, more white people.
Yeah.
Oh, what about Fantastic Beasts? That was a movie we actually watched that we're both, I think, looking forward to, and then it was kind of like, oh yeah, that ended. I guess we just watched that movie. Yeah.
I heard part of like someone talking about it and saying that what really makes it different from Harry Potter, with Harry Potter, it was like we were on the adventure with them.
Right.
Whereas with Fantastic Beasts, it was like we were watching the adventure. Like, and I think also what that person said was that they didn't actually say that first thing. What they actually said is this: all of the magic that Harry and them were doing, they had earned that. They like earned it, right? And that was sort of like part of the story,
right?
But in Fantastic Beasts, it's like there just is magic, and I don't know. So
and it seems really chaotic.
It was like less magical because of that, and I think because it seemed like magic could just do anything. So
you didn't have like in the Harry Potter books and movies. Very strict rules are set up about every spell and how it can and can't work, and
and they just be like, "Flick, okay, we are putting everything that got wrecked back together again."
Yeah,
like, okay.
And he's got this TARDIS suitcase that seemed like it could solve all his problems. Just let the animals live in the suitcase that has all the habitats they could ever want. Let all of humanity, let the population overflow live in that suitcase. I mean, I guess it's the 30s, so it wasn't like that big a overpopulation wasn't that big a problem. And there was a big swath of population that was going to get killed right away anyways. Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing that I like about the Harry Potter movies is like seeing how their lives are different from ours.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of that.
Yeah, because they're the wizards we do see are living as humans in New York. Like,
well, and even we were at their house, the women, the sisters, we were at their house for a bit.
Is about
I don't know, it was cool, like, I like that, but it just doesn't...
Yeah, it's not like Hogwarts, where you're going into this magical castle.
Mm-hmm. And it's exciting for the kids. Like, the kids are in awe of it, too. Anyway, I mean, I'll watch the next one, but I heard people say that it was bad. Or not as good.
Not as good.
No, yeah.
That's pretty damning. I also found the guy, even though I like a good...
What's that actor's name? Eddie Redmayne or something?
Yeah, I like I like a character that's pretty kind of autism spectrum-y, usually, but he was just a little off-putting. It was a little too thick. It was sort of like...
I can't watch him without being annoyed that he was cast as a trans woman in that other movie.
Oh, right.
So I'm just irked.
Irked by his existence. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was him from that story.
What was that movie called?
I don't know. I don't think anybody remembers it now.
I'd laugh if it wasn't even him, and I'm just like, I hate that guy.
I don't know. I just felt like
I'm pretty sure
he was like laying it on too thick or something. I don't know. It was sort of he was kind of unlikable in a way.
But I felt like he was meant to be unlikable.
I guess, but it was sort of like
in that same way that Gandalf is like you're supposed to love Gandalf, but at the same time, how can you be supposed to love Gandalf because Gandalf is like the worst?
It's not as bad as Dumbledore.
Oh, I meant Dumbledore.
I said Gandalf. I just watched the Lord of the Rings movies on Netflix this week.
# screen time.
Quill didn't watch any of it.
Oh, really?
No, I watched a little bit, like half an hour a night before going to bed kind of thing. And they do not hold up. Holy crap. I remember when they came out, it was like, they never need to make another Lord of the Rings. This is going to be perfect forever. This is the vision. This is there's some cheesy acting and jokes that could have been, like always knew Legolas on the shield. Going
Yeah,
down
that
the
was always
stairs.
silly.
That was always dumb. And it's just like so much bad green screen that is so obvious. Like how can we not see
Bad
that?
acting, but then also
Yeah.
some really good acting. Like
I thought
Elijah
Viggo-
Wood.
Elijah and Vigo.
Mwah.
Vigo would have these like so subtle, multifaceted, just like tweaks of his eyes when people would say something, or he's like giving somebody the hairy eyeball or something like that.
When like Frodo would like sort of furrow his eyebrow and look worried, but then there'd be like a slight change to the expression, and it would be like, oh, now this is being thought about.
Yeah. Whereas Pippin and Merry and well, obviously Sean Astin is a big turnip. Yeah, but just I was shocked by how bad the green screen effects are, where it looks like a 1980s Battlestar Galactica bad. Whereas like how could it have seemed so photorealistically perfect back when it came out? It's like I think there should be like a psychological study done about how when you see new developments in special effects, people are like, wow, this is true to real life. You know, like when you're watching, I guess now would be like the Avengers movies or something. It'd be like, this looks like so real. And in like 10 years, are we going to be like, wow, I can't believe we ever thought that looked real?
How many Avengers movies are there?
I think in the Marvel Universe, there was like 19 heading up to the Infinity War movie that we haven't seen.
19?
Yeah.
And they canceled 2 shows. That horrible Iron Fist one.
Yeah.
And the Luke Cage one.
And Daredevil.
Oh.
They haven't
Why did they cancel all those?
Well, because Marvel, Disney are starting their own streaming service. So it's like preemptive, like we're going to lose these properties anyways. So if they cancel them now, there's something like Marvel can't do anything with them for 2 years. So they're like, it's like a pissing match. But they're not good
Fuck
either.
capitalism.
Yeah. we just want our shows.
So podcasting. Let's talk about podcasting. What
Yeah.
has 10 years of podcasting meant for you?
I guess a highlight would be being asked to join the Simply Syndicated network, and the low light would be getting kicked off the network under the cloud that it happened under.
Yeah.
Even though we hadn't done an episode at that point over a year, we just planned on doing one final episode for this date, December 18th, the anniversary. That didn't get to happen, but
It didn't.
Such is life. Such is life.
Yeah, are we going there? Is that where we're going?
I think that's all we have to say about it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have to go into any...
All we have to say about that.
I mean, I guess we can make some sort of legal statement about how we don't condone pedophilia, but... and never have said anything to imply that we do. But just for the record...
It's true. We don't condone pedophilia.
And have never.
And have never condoned it.
But otherwise, yeah, that's that. I mean, but yeah, I mean, well, this will be a podcast we put up on the SoundCloud.
Yeah, so if you're expecting to get this through your regular Simply Syndicated stream,
yeah,
you will not.
We are no longer on iTunes, so you'll have to go to our Facebook page where it will be posted, and you can find it there.
You post it to you could post one to YouTube.
Well,
too.
this YouTube one here will automatically post.
Right.
Unedited, unfortunately.
Right, but you could.
But I could download it, re-edit it, and then re-upload it.
Well, no, I was thinking you could just upload the audio to YouTube.
I could do a nice clean version of the audio. The quill-free mix. Yeah, no, but I mean, podcasting meant a lot to me, several years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were doing an episode a week for years.
Years?
Years.
We did it for a long time, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. We didn't meet because of podcasting.
No.
But I feel like podcasting was like part of us getting together.
Well, it was definitely like the hobby we had in common.
Well, after the fact, though, but I mean, even like when you were like internet dating, you were talking about it with people on the Simply Syndicated forum.
That's true, yeah.
And I don't know, like it just all sort of seems like part of our story.
Well, it is. It is very much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, just the podcast itself and having a podcast and talking about movies and stuff was really important to me at one point. We could have like had your mom look after Quill while we did episodes and stuff. In the last 17 months.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I had nothing to say. I didn't feel like I needed to be negative about movies anymore. I guess.
And that's what it is. You just want to be negative about movies.
Well, when I talk about movies, I tend to be
You're like
negative.
the antithesis of Rick.
He'd probably agree.
Yeah.
We're like two sides of a coin. Mm-hmm. Although I think got a lot more negative over the years. But I think it's also movies objectively got a lot worse over the years.
Well, that's probably true too.
So I think he even his positivity couldn't fight
break through that.
Just the crap that they make now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because I'm an old man. It's the kids that are wrong. I don't know. It's like, can we all agree that objectively, movies are kind of like bad now?
Yeah.
Especially genre movies like these, because they're all like blockbuster.
We're old people though. Like that is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It is a real thing. Yeah. And I've noticed it more now, like, I guess maybe just even since Quill's born, like being away from school for a year and then coming back, I'm definitely an old person now.
Right.
Like I used to feel like I was cooler, but I am old and not cool. I don't know. I think the loss of the forums was a blow.
Yeah, that kind of changed things for me in a way. It went from being like a social club that was sort of a everyday engagement to being you kind of interact with these people on Facebook or Twitter or wherever once in a while.
Yeah.
And so it definitely felt more isolating, more disconnected from that community, which was very, inclusive. And certainly at the time I needed it, being new in Toronto. I needed a wider social net than also podcasting changed just in general after Serial. When you talk about podcasting with people, like to me, podcasting is just regular people chatting in a kind of unprofessional manner, and not the sort of produced docu-drama kind of podcasts, and which is what most people seem to think podcasts are now. And it's just kind of the world changed, and I didn't change with it, so I don't listen to any podcasts at all anymore.
No, well, and also like the reality of our lives changed too, right? Like I wouldn't have time to go on the forum.
Yeah.
Now I used to like check it many times a day.
Yeah.
You know?
I sort of tried to replicate it a bit with certain music groups on Facebook that I would join, and I just don't like getting into conversations like that.
Yeah.
I don't need to like hash it out about things I like or dislike with people anymore. It's just sort of like they like something cool. I don't like it. I'm okay with that. I don't need to be convinced one way or the other. Certainly don't need to convince them not to like it. Whereas I used to be like really into like picking out all the reasons why, whatever movie I thought was like a Phantom Menace was bad or something like that.
Right.
And like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many sort of YouTube channels and other podcasts that do that now. It's sort of like we don't need to do that either anymore. Like if we were still podcasting, I'd much rather do like a social justice podcast.
Over the years, like Nerd Hurdles became that, really.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work for.
Well, and that's also like really the only stuff like I want to talk to people about on the internet is social justice stuff, or the only sort of like contentious conversations I get into are with trolls who are transphobic or homophobic or racist or sexist or not recognizing their privilege or just shitty.
The only trolls I'm interested in is Troll Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not interested in trolls, but certainly like there's value in having those conversations where like
Hi. You want me to have the guitar?
Oh, it's like a vinyl tab.
Oh yeah. So there's this time I was on the road with Neil Young.
Oh yeah.
Back when we were
taking care of business.
Yeah. And I cannot do a Randy Bachman impersonation. Randy Bachman of Guess Who and Bachman Turner Overdrive has this show on CBC where he just waxes poetic about the good old days of rock and roll, and he has his guitar in the studio with him and he plays little licks in between talking and introducing songs.
And there's always like a theme.
Yeah.
So it'll be like songs with numbers in them.
Yeah.
Like really cheesy themes.
It's super cheesy, but kind of endearing.
It's a great show.
Yeah. When we used to play in this band, we go to gigs, it was always on on the way to or from the show, and we would... See, I'm actually doing it now.
Yeah.
We're on the way to or from the show, and we would listen to Randy Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And those were good times.
There were good times. Of course, I don't know if we can name drop quite as well as Randy Bachman. Because he always name drops, too. That's the big thing.
We had this drummer named Luca Capone. And he really likes food. So now I'm gonna play this song Baby Dumplings by Baby Joe and the Smoes.
Yeah, no, but the social justice thing.
Yeah.
I think like what you were saying, just how the world has changed. It seems like an imperative now, right?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, before it did too, but it just seems like bad people are being loud.
Yeah.
And good people need to be loud.
Yeah.
And not complacent.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, there's some, pretty scary parallels with how things are going now, to other really times where lots of really bad stuff went down.
Yeah, back when we were doing the podcast, it seemed more like we were holding the dike with our finger. We're helping to stop the flow of something, and kind of seems... It was like...
There's a lot more holes now.
A lot more holes.
People need to get their fingers out.
And I don't think a podcast
and put them in the holes.
A podcast preaching to the choir isn't going to help.
It is and it isn't, right? But like,
we got so few angry letters about anything we ever said. I mean, it's good to give.
I don't know, man. I feel like we got kicked off the network for things we said. Sorry.
Yeah, but that was only after Trump got elected and things turned bad. It was like Sauron had taken over Middle Earth, and all those kings were going mad because of the negative influence of Sauron. So I feel like that's kind of...
There's value in preaching to the choir because it helps people, especially with the podcast. Lots of people are listening in isolation, right? Yeah. And that might be the only way that they are hearing that they're not alone.
That's true. They might not have as big a bubble as we do. It's easy to forget that other people aren't in that situation, that they're the only person in their town or whatever.
Yeah.
And they only have a podcast to listen to. So it is great when we get letters to that effect, to know that.
Great, and also sad, right?
Sad.
When people are sort of saying you were there for me when I needed it or whatever. Yeah. I'm glad that we were, but
But at the same time, it's holy shit.
Because we're not that
We were the lifeline? Holy crap. You had it worse than you thought. But I don't know what else I could do other than a podcast to be that would be more effective on a social justice front. So it's I mean,
you could organize, right? Get out there and but I can't, right? We're introverts. That's the thing. I find it hard, when you read all of those things about how to be an ally and how to be an accomplice and how to sort of move the work forward. So much of it is getting out there and doing stuff. And I find that hard because I don't like strangers. I don't even like non-strangers. I don't know. My two best friends live far away all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
But I almost wonder if I need that distance almost.
Well, I'm almost half convinced I have a avoidant personality disorder, which is basically just introversion cranked up to 11. Well, we've been doing this for over an hour, which is long enough to prove that we can't do, video. We're not good on video.
We're not good on video. So I guess that's it. Does anybody have any,
If you said something really important that you were hoping we'd comment on and we probably just didn't see it before it vanished off the top of the screen, repeat it now.
Yeah, we'll watch the stream for a minute, and if there's a burning question you have or something you want us to say out loud, a birthday wish you'd like to send out to somebody, because they're also listening. Yeah. All right, 7 people are watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
And 5 people are watching us on Facebook. We're famous, and probably some of those are the same people.
I think at least one, maybe. We got 2 thumbs up on YouTube.
Wasn't one of them you?
Probably. I guess that can be it.
Yeah, so thanks for coming along for the ride, and
all the years of, I don't want to say dedication, but support.
Yeah, support and just, I don't know,
And
like
friendship.
I think, and friendship. I think you know, we made some really special friendships, and I mean those aren't going anywhere, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a Slicé.